24 years ago, NYPD detective Joe Viggiano died during the World Trade Center attack. He left behind a wife and 3 young boys. Now the new documentary, Twin Towers Legacy, tells the story of how Joe's sons are following in their father's footsteps, answering the call to serve.
An incredible story, and this film is going to be released tomorrow anywhere you buy or rent movies. Joining us now is the film's director, Robert Port, and Joe Viggiano Jr., now a member of the NYPD's Emergency Service Unit. Thank you so much for both of you being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Joe,
Yeah.
I was going to say, Joe, I want to start with you because this is incredible. The family legacy and lineage of first responders, 180 years this goes back. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, as you just said, my grandfather and both my father and uncle served. My grandfather was a captain in the FDNY. My uncle is a firefighter. My dad is a cop, as well as my mom and grandfather as police officers.
Wow.
Right, so your parents met on the force.
Yes, they both met in the 75th Precinct.
Incredible. No, it is an amazing line of service. And unfortunately, your father and your uncle were killed on 9/11 when you were just a young boy.
Yes.
How old were you? What do you remember about that terrible day?
So I was 8 years old. I was in 2nd grade. I don't recall a whole lot about that day other than being brought home, and my parents kept me in the dark for a few weeks about what was going on. We just thought Dad was at work, and they tried to keep it like that for a bit.
Wow. In terms of you being that young, remembering and realizing Dad's not coming back, well, what's your mom, how did they explain this to you, and how this was an honorable thing that he gave his life, doing what he did?
Well, they explained it as my father would do doubles or long tours at work, so it wasn't uncommon for him not to come home for a couple days, and for me to spend time at my grandparents' house. But they said he was doing a job that he loved, and he lost his life, fighting for, to save lives.
Yeah, God, and it's just so unbelievable, heartbreaking. And you actually knew his father growing up.
Yeah. So later in life, Joe's dad, Joe, we became very, very close friends. Had done a short documentary on him. I was with Joe up till September 8th, finishing that documentary. We closed down the bar at the old Stanhope. Yeah. When it was still a hotel. And he always said to me, he was amazing, he's tough, and he was very loving. He always said to me, make sure you call me when you land. He was like my mom, that same type of thing. He just want to make sure you get home safe. And then unfortunately, events of the 11th happened.
Now, Robert, obviously there's so many stories of people who gave their lives during this time, unknowingly, knowing what they were going to walk into. What really stood out to you to tell this story, particularly about Joe and his family and his sons?
Well, after the first film, had come out and won the Oscar in '03, which is not the way you want to win it, of course. I remained close to the family, and Kathy, their amazing mom, who's also toughest cop I've ever met out of the 7-5, wanted them to be doctors. She always said they're going to be doctors, they're going to be lawyers. And when I found out that they became Marines and entered the NYPD, I said, this is just incredible. I mean, to me, this is legacy right away. I knew that's what it is. Find out why these boys, these men are doing what they're doing. I mean, inside, to me, it was partly to find out who your dad was. I mean, we've talked about this, and also what they're like moth to a light, like what brought them to that. And they're just incredible. I spent 4.5 years in the field with him and his brother, and some time down on Paris Island with their other brother. And I have to tell you, they're like truly the best of what America has. I love these kids. Yeah,
no doubt about that. No argument there. So you're a cop, your brother's a firefighter, and then your youngest brother's in the Marines.
Not quite.
No,
so
close.
Both, myself and the middle brother are both police officers.
Oh, you're both? Okay.
Yes, with NYPD, and the youngest brother is in the Marine Corps.
Now, what does your mom say about that? Is she like, can one of you become an accountant? Like,
Well, she's incredibly proud of us, but she worries quite a bit too.
Sure, yeah.
In terms of you kind of pursuing this career that your father, stepping into your father's shoes, what was something that you learned that you were like, I realized maybe what he went through, now doing what he did?
Well, I get to see that camaraderie firsthand. After the passing of my father, the NYPD, especially the men and women that worked with my mom and dad, were like family to us. And they came to all our holidays and events, and they were helped fill in that void. And now being in that family, you really get to see behind the curtain. It's special.
Yeah, it's such a difficult week as we go through it once again for the 24th time. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us.
It's such an amazing story to tell, and that film's going to be released tomorrow anywhere, as you heard him say, that you buy or rent movies. You can get the latest on that on streaming anywhere. Certainly a story worth seeing. Amazing, a follow-up to your film
so much.
from 20
Robert and
plus
Joe,
years ago.
certainly appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.